70 years ago, in eulogising the death of King George VI, the then British Prime Minister Winston Churchill declared the beginning of a new Elizabethan age. 26-year-old Princess Elizabeth was in Africa with her husband, the Duke of Edinburgh, and she suddenly became the most visible person in the world, thrust into the spotlight, as indeed her father was when his brother abdicated the throne. A girl never born to be queen, assuming the most public of all lives, as she said, be it long or short, in the service of the people. But not even Churchill could have predicted the longevity of her reign or the global admiration she now enjoys, as the world has rapidly changed around her in that time. The Queen has passed a milestone no other British ruler has achieved or is likely to achieve anytime soon. So joining me now to commemorate it all from London is royal correspondent for the Daily Mirror newspaper, Mr Russell Myers. It's a poignant day for the Queen, I imagine, Russell. It's her ascension to the throne anniversary, but it's also the anniversary of the death of her much-loved father. How has the UK and indeed the Queen commemorated the moment?
Good evening, Peter. Well, as you say, it was not only hugely significant, her own Ascension Day, thrust into the spotlight at such a young age from the untimely death of her father. And she used the opportunity to commemorate her father, and saying that not only was she thinking about her own past, 70 years on the throne, a tremendous milestone that I don't think will ever be beaten. She pointedly referenced the fact that she was thinking about her father, as she does on every February the 6th. Undoubtedly, this has been a tremendously significant time, not only because she was forced to spend large periods of time in isolation throughout the pandemic at Windsor Castle. Her Christmas plans were thrown into chaos, that she had to stay there away from most of her family. And indeed, this has been quite a delayed trip. But nevertheless, she has been using that opportunity to throw it forward and speak about when her son Charles does be king and what that will hold.
Yeah, I'll ask you about Camilla in a moment, but I'm assuming these Jubilee celebrations will be fairly significant. Are they kicking off in June, is it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, this is the start of a jam-packed year. Hopefully, we're going to see the Queen a bit more. She's been in ill health recently. She was forced to spend the night in hospital in November, put her back out just before the Remembrance Sunday commemoration. So we haven't seen too much of her. But over the weekend, she was looking a lot more sprightly. People have said she's been in fantastic spirits. And this is the start of a big year. Prince William will be in Dubai later this week. The Cambridges will do a tour of the Caribbean sometime in the spring. So there is an awful lot to look forward to. You mentioned June there. That's going to be a huge Jubilee weekend. And no doubt the celebrations will be sort of reverberated across the country and hopefully across the Commonwealth as well.
All right, well, talk to me about this statement that she issued on the weekend, very lengthy statement, reaffirming her pledge to serving the British people and the Commonwealth. But interestingly, I read in that quote, a bracket, I'm not abdicating anytime soon. But her sincere wish, she called it, that when the time comes, Camilla will be known as the Queen Consort. Now, I've always assumed that was going to happen anyway. I know all the issues with Diana, of course, but that seemed to be the way it goes, and they were waiting for a passage of time. Have you had that passage of time? Are the British public happy with this comment there from the Queen?
Well, it's interesting that she chose this occasion to drop that bombshell, I suppose. And you're right. I think that there has been such a passage of time that the British people, and certainly people around the Commonwealth, would assume that would happen. However, Prince Charles had always said, certainly at his wedding to Camilla back in 2005, and then you talk about throughout the years, his team, his private secretaries have always said that would not happen, that she would be known as Princess Consort. But I think they probably wanted to get the business of the marriage and the fact that the relationship had come to fruition out the way, and then deal with it later. Well, that time has come now, and very interesting that the Queen chose this monumental anniversary to make that announcement. I think it's a generational thing. Certainly here in the UK, you'll have older members of the population will still recoil in horror, some of them, that the fact that the Queen has made this announcement, and yet some younger people who aren't necessarily royalists wouldn't care less. But it's certainly something that some of us never thought would happen. And the fact that the Queen has used this opportunity to make that announcement is quite seismic, I think.
And just quickly before we go, I'm running out of time. At Prince Andrew, he won't overshadow these commemorations?
No, I think that was definitely the fear. I mean, he's got his own legal problems, which have been well publicised due to potentially stand trial in New York later on in the year. I mean, that is a huge issue for the royal family, and they will be hoping that he either settles out of court. I think is probably the most sensible scenario for all involved. But if he does go to trial, then that is going to have obviously huge ramifications for the royal family, and indeed these Platinum Jubilee celebrations.
We'll watch it all closely. Russell Myers, thank you as always for your time.